cooked this before a few times. Basically, it's lasagna on the Ziggy barbecue. Because we're camping, obviously there's limited things that you can cook. We decided that we wanted to cook everything that we eat at home and then just figure out obviously ways of on the road cooking it. So I'll run you through it. Basically, it's about 1 carrot, 1 onion, grated obviously, bit of garlic, bit of Italian herbs, salt and pepper, just the regular stuff. Dolmio red wine and Italian herbs for the sauce, and then the Dolmio bechamel. Obviously you can go with whatever sauce you want, just down to you really. The main important thing is you have to go with the fresh lasagna sheets, because we found that the dry ones that you get in the packaging, like the hard ones, just they don't really taste the best and they're not really, you know, the same. So we just go with fresh. But basically what you want to do is just obviously chop your onion up into small pieces, grate your carrot in, get your mince in, get it all cooking, and then I'll come back to you what that looks like. Okay, so I've got the carrot in there, the onions all diced up. Basically from now I go a bit of garlic, a bit of Italian herbs, bit of salt and pepper, let that simmer until it goes sort of, you know, golden as usual, and then from there I'll just put the mince in and then go with the sauce. So the onions and carrots have come to a brown now. I've just put in our 250 grams of mince. Basically I'll brown that off as well, and then we go in with the sauce. So the mince and everything's all browned off now. I've just put my sauce in. Basically I'm going to stir this up, mix it in well, and then start getting my lasagna sheets ready to start layering, and then I'll go through that with you in a sec. So easiest way that I've found the lasagna to cut the sheets, basically just get your dish, put it down up to the edge, get your knife, and then basically just trace around the outside. That's literally the easiest way that I've found to do it. Mince is done. As I said, you basically just want to do your first layer as thin as possible. So we'll get this mince in, start with our first sheet. So basically put that sheet down, press it in so it's nice and firm and there's no sort of air bubbles in between. And then basically from there, what you're going to do is, first you're going to start with your bechamel. Get a thin layer of bechamel on. You don't want too much, because by the time you start going, you know, 3, 4, 5 layers, if you do your bechamel too thick, it will be quite like a sloppy lasagna. So basically you'll go bechamel on top now, spread that out, and then after the bechamel, I basically like to just do not much, because obviously the cheese has got oil in it when it cooks, so it'll go real oily, but I just like to do just a little thin dusting of cheese. Then from there, so you've got your mince, your lasagna sheet, then your bechamel, then a thin layer of cheese. Repeat the process 4 or 5 times, or as many layers as you can fit in. So I'll go ahead now, start with the mince, and then we'll just keep rinsing and repeating until the lasagna is finished. So, got all of our layers in. Basically, as I said before, you want to leave yourself with 2 sheets. That's optional, up to you. That's just the way I like to do it. So basically, you've got your final layer on. You'll go on top with 1 sheet, and then you'll go bechamel as the rest of the layers. Quickly just spread that one out. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then from there, once you've got your layer of bechamel, again, just a little light dusting of cheese just to sort of, you know, stick the sheets together. And then you'll go back on top with a second sheet now to double sheet the top. On top again with the bechamel. And now this is the layer that you're going to want to put, you know, a bit more cheese than you have been in the previous ones. So get your bechamel all spread it out. Done. And then basically from there, put a good sort of portion of cheese on. Obviously I've gone a little bit short of the top of the tray there, because you don't sort of want it overflowing and spewing out everywhere. Obviously we're doing it on a barbecue, so you don't want all that dripping down through the barbecue, and then obviously have a big clean up at the end. Now cheese is in. From there, I like to go on top with a bit of pepper, bit of salt, and then top it off with some Italian herbs. Obviously it is lasagna, so you know, keep with the Italian. Get that on, good portion of herbs, and then I'll be back with you in a second and I'll show you the barbecue process. We've got a Ziggy. It's the smallest version, I think it is. This is the harder part, is it took me a little bit to figure out the temperatures. So basically for a Ziggy, you want to turn it on, you know, on high, close the lid, get it heated up, and then from there, drop it back down to the lowest setting possible and don't touch it, and then basically put the lasagna in, and it's about 30 to 40 minutes. Right at the end, I'll come back to you, and basically I just turn it up to full bull for the last sort of 3 minutes just to completely crisp the top off. But I've just got this heated up now, so it's basically preheated, nice and warm. So what we do is, because it's a barbecue and the flames are at the bottom, if you were to put this in straight away like this now, your bottom will be black before the top's even ready. So what I do is I grab a pizza tray, or basically any tray, stick it straight in the middle. That will deflect the flame so it goes around the barbecue rather than straight up through. And then you want to grab yourself, I've just got the top from what I cook with in there. You can use like a cake stand or basically anything that will get the tray off the ground. So you want to put that exactly in the middle of the barbecue. Grab your lasagna, put your lasagna on top. Obviously make sure it's not going anywhere, it's not going to fall off. The reason for is, now the lasagna's in the middle of the barbecue. When you close the lid, the lasagna will sit basically halfway, so it's going to act like an oven and it will cook all the way around rather than from the bottom up. So I've got this on low. I'll basically shut this down, as I said, leave it for half an hour, and then I'll come back to you and show you what it's looking like. So we're basically at our, last sort of 3 minutes. So as I said, what you want to do is crank her up to high, and then basically put that down, give it about 5 minutes if that, and then we should be good to go. So lasagna's out. We'll give it like a minute or two to cool down. I got some chips inside in the air fryer. Basically what I do with that is just bit of salt, bit of herbs. Got one piece out. Just get the second piece out for you. There. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. If you want to see more of our cooking, or you want to follow our vlog around Australia, just subscribe to our YouTube or follow us on Insta, and we'll be back with you soon.